devise means of instilling and supervising and actually demanding effective and responsible parenting using all relevant structures of government, especially the local governments, and also using the cultural and religious institutions. This should be everybody's responsibility, the protection of our children and making sure that we have a quality population should be everybody's responsibility. But of course, it takes a leader to mobilize the other structures and make sure that we operate together. We must also call for effective implementation of the existing laws on defilement. We have the laws in place. Even the few statistics I read here were from some of them from the probation offices, but these offices are not adequately facilitated. Girls do report to the police station, some of them only for the parents to be asked for fuel to facilitate the police officers to go and carry out the arrests, or to facilitate the probation officers to go and carry out investigations. So, Right Honorable Speaker, we need to put sufficient funding to these departments of the police and probation. Right Honorable Speaker, the motion speaks for itself, but we would like that the education health policy be strengthened and the youth-friendly corners. These were providing sexual education to the young girls and also providing family planning education and services, because it is important that our girls stay in school, that first of all, that they have knowledge of what happens, and then they can protect themselves. And the youth-friendly corners are very necessary. Right Honorable Speaker, I'd like to thank the Research Department of Parliament, who issued a policy brief yesterday morning with the necessary statistics out of the research carried out with the help of UNFPA. Out of this research, you see 6 districts of central Uganda. Out of 6 districts, you have 18,000 teenage girls pregnant during this period. And so we'd like to thank our department and to encourage them to do more, but also to make sure that this information reaches everyone and can be used. Right Honorable Speaker, with that, I beg to move.
Okay, Honorable Member, the figures for Weru, is it 12,000? The figure for Weru, 12,944?
Can I clarify a bit later, Right Honorable Speaker?
Okay, Honorable Members, any comments? Honorable Karungi Amede, Basemera, Pachito. Are you, I think let's have 2 minutes because we have another motion. Okay, Oranje.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. And I want to thank my colleague, Honorable Jova, for bringing out this motion, which is very important and touching for our people and as our country at large. Madam Speaker, it is very, very unfortunate that when this COVID came, our girls actually became like, I don't know whether you can say became a target or became unfortunate. It was really a bad thing for especially our children. We went to Maracha recently and found out that actually, like Honorable Kamateka has said, the numbers are too high, and we were evidenced with some girls that were brought before us, and they were telling us really the reasons that caused them to do that, and we felt so bad about it. But what we found out, Madam Speaker, was that even before COVID in West Nile, they have night dance, they have night markets, which start at 8 in the evening. So you can imagine a girl child being in the market, a girl child of 12 years, 11, going in the market in the evening, takes stuff there for sale. What do you expect out of that? So those evening markets, Madam Speaker, I think the ministry has taken it very serious. I've never seen it in any other part of Uganda apart from that West Nile. And I was like, how can the government allow these night markets that start at 8, and you expect to have girls there? You will not have them. So, Madam Speaker, it is really unfortunate. And another issue that I found there, which really disturbed me, was I found out that the parents were sharing the house with their children. So at night when they are enjoying their thing, the children are listening. So the next day, they also try to go outside and test that to know what actually the thing is all about. So it is also, I don't know that practice, I don't know how we shall help our people and advise them, but sharing a house with the children, really, it is unfortunate. So I try to talk to most of the youth, and the way they were explaining the thing, I said, oh, we need to help our people. They also want to go and see what is out there. And we found out that also domestic violence was so high. And mothers were leaving homes. And so after leaving homes, you find a father will come and maybe he's drunk, and that night will enjoy the daughter without even knowing. Or they know and they just ignore, I don't know really. So it is really unfortunate, Madam Speaker. So the ministry has to do something seriously so that we can protect these girls. And they were telling us also that the model girls from that area don't like to visit them. I'm requesting Ugandans, those who are from West Nile, especially the ladies, always go there and make sure that those girls see you. Go on radios, talk to them. Don't leave them for the government and politicians alone. You also need you have something great you can do with our girls, because they need to see you, they need to see us, they need to know what we do. They really need to see us and also appreciate and know that a girl child can be important. I am very happy, Madam Speaker. I have met many girls in the schools where I go, and they have always asked me, Elizabeth, are you also going to be like Honorable Kadaga? They love you everywhere. When you talk about Kadaga, that's the woman you are talking about. They always ask me. And so those role models are important. You see how you have brought that name of a girl child. A girl can also be something and somebody. But in the West Nile, if they are not seeing one there, or they don't get the opportunity of hearing about somebody, we are demoralizing them. So people from West Nile, please take it up and be serious, encourage our girls so that they can know that actually they are also very important. Madam Speaker, I happened to meet somebody who gave me her experience that when she finished senior 4, she got married, and when she married, she had loved she had wanted to continue school, but the mother inspired her, and she talked to her, and she was at the end married away. They married her, and she got married in church, and so in the process the things didn't go well. But she used to hear somebody called Miriam Atembe in the West there. So she was like, since things have refused, let me go back to school. One time I will be like Miriam Atembe. She has not reached that level, but at least she's somewhere, and Miriam Atembe encouraged her. So please, role models we have, help our children. They need to hear you. They need to see you talk. They need to listen on the radios. And you need to encourage them seriously. So, Madam Speaker, I'm requesting, and I would like to add on the prayers Honorable Kamateka has prayed, that, Madam Speaker, there are these girls who have got pregnant, produced out of these lies they tell them, and they would love to go back to school, but they don't have school fees. And alternatively, they would wish that since they have no school fees, at least they can get little money and start their little businesses. And I am always surprised. Recently, we met a group of some teenage mothers, and we talked to them. And one of them was telling us that even if I got 100,000, I can start my business and look after my child. So you see, they don't even need a lot of money to start their own businesses and have a living. So I'm praying, Madam Speaker, that the government looks for these girls, maybe through NGOs, because the NGOs know them. Sometimes our district probation officers, sometimes they don't know them, because reaching those offices, you need to have maybe paid money or otherwise. But most of the NGOs knows where these girls are. So through the NGOs, these girls can be mobilized. Those who can be helped with little money, they start their little businesses and have a living. Because they have children, they are not educated, they don't have land, they don't have anywhere, they have no shelter. They live really a very miserable life, when actually they would have maybe gotten a chance of studying or continuing and reaching somewhere in the future. And look for these children, get little money, train them in entrepreneurship courses, and give them that money and they proceed. That money is not much. Even if it was maybe like 1 million or 2 million of these girls, and each is getting 200 or 150, I am very sure my government can't fail to raise that money. So through you, Madam Speaker, I am requesting that that also be done to encourage those girls not to lose hope or throw away their children like others, leave them on the way, for them to live well and look after their children. I thank you very much.
Honorable Mede, 2 minutes, please. Then Honorable Somera Pachuto Ayo Oranya, then the minister. Oh, Shema.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Jova, for the motion. The issue of teenage pregnancy is very painful. I almost shed tears at one of my village meetings during primaries. It just did occur to me that in this particular sub-county, there were many young girls who were pregnant, about 15, 16, and I did ask the community, why are you doing this to the kids? It was very painful to see those kids pregnant. Yes, government, you have done some work, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Teenage pregnancy is a cultural, moral, and an economic issue. Yet we are not utilizing those government structures to actually attack the problem. We have the probation officer who is waiting when the incident has already occurred. Honorable Minister, how about empowering the probation officer, the police officer, the CDO to be actively in the community, to be having continuous engagement with the communities about teenage pregnancy. We also have women councils who could be good mentors. It could be like, I don't know how to put it, but the women councils of that parish, that could be part of their assignment to encourage girls to go to school. Some girls just need some positivity, some little counseling. For example, I think I'm paying for 2 girls whom by accident I met during school time and were not in school, and I asked, why aren't you in school? And one girl told me some boy had teased her and she doesn't want to go back to that school. So I offered to pay for her in another school. And this girl now for the last 3 years, she's back in school. So how about if we had people constantly monitoring girls and encouraging them to stay in school? Some police stations don't have holding facilities for kids who have been abused. What are we going to do about that? For lack of holding places for girls who have been abused, the police station only has a uniport, 2 uniports, and they are supposed to follow up on those cases. Some of those cases need some investigations. It becomes a challenge.
Okay, half a minute.
Just to conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to request the Honorable Minister that let this be given some prominence. Let's have a targeted program because this issue has been largely left to NGOs who are selective. They are in certain places, and when the program winds up, nothing else is done. How about if we keep a continuous program, a national program of government involving government structures? Thank you.
Honorable Basambira, then Pachuto, Ayo, Odanya, and then the minister.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to thank my sister, Honorable Jova, for moving this motion. Madam Speaker, this motion speaks for itself. The issue of teenage pregnancy and child marriage, child mothers, is very disheartening. Madam Speaker, COVID has only worsened the situation, but in our rural communities, this is a very serious concern that is worth of government serious attention. Madam Speaker, recently I went to a church in our community in Kivale, and I felt so bad to see it full of so many child mothers, very young girls, teenage, with breastfeeding. It was so painful. And many of them, I was imagining, they produce at the age of 13, 15. By the time they are 35, how many children will they have given birth to? And are they able to look after them? It becomes a big burden. So, Madam Speaker, this is a serious challenge. I am happy the Minister of Gender is here. How I pray that the ministry, in addition to the efforts by the NGOs, can champion a serious campaign that we will all join to against teenage pregnancy, against child marriages in this country. It's a big problem, Madam Speaker. Like the move of the motion proposed, the prayers.
Please conclude.
At least those who are able to go back to school, if arrangements can be put in place that they are able to go back to school. But also there should be deterrent measures, Madam Speaker, for the defilers of these young girls. They go scotch-free, and the reason they are increasing to misbehave, the young boys and girls, the young boys who defile others, some are relatives, some, it's terrible. Madam Speaker, we need deterrent measures against the defilers. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Pachuto, then Ayo, then Odanya, then Honorable Tuzo. Gomba. Oh.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Kamateka for this motion. Right Honorable Speaker, it is a naked truth that teenage pregnancy is on the rise, and was still in our region of West Nile. Right Honorable Speaker, I know a member has already mentioned about late evening markets. Right Honorable Speaker, when you go to a number of our districts, you will not believe as a parent or as a leader in this country that the leadership at the local government levels can allow a market to start at 6. And when you move a little bit late in the night, we are talking about young girls, but these young girls are producing with their peers. You find a boy of 16 years has produced with a girl of 14 years, or moving in the night with very young people around a market, around a bar, a discotheque, and you wonder whether they are still administrators in this country. I want to call upon the Minister of Gender to work closely with the Minister of Local Government. Where markets begin very late, let it be closed. They should come out with ordinances at local district levels to not to allow discos, especially maybe even throughout the week, as long as these community discos, I mean, not these, there are these discotheques where they're in town and it's properly, regulated.
Please conclude.
These discos in the communities, if they can be regulated. And then, Madam Speaker, much as we are calling upon government, we as parents must do take on our responsibility. There is need for skillful parenting. We need to talk to our children. We must have regulations. I don't buy in the fact that a parent cannot discipline an errant child. Madam Speaker, it is time we went back to community parenting. This thing that I get your child and I just pass, I see the child doing something wrong, I should not even rebuke the child. I think it is un-African. It is time for us to collectively bring up our children if we are to realize any good Ugandans at all. I thank you.
Honorable Ayo, then Sengo, then we shall have Honorable Odanya Obwal Kivashu, and then the Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank Honorable Jovia for bringing up this matter in a motion. Right Honorable Speaker, last year from January to August, in Kwania district, 1,500 teenage girls got pregnant, just in 8 months. Right Honorable Speaker, this means that if the trend of handling teenage pregnancy and child marriage is not checked, then we are going to destroy the future of girls in this country. Madam Speaker, my first concern that we should take up as Parliament is to ensure that among the prayers that have been put by the motion is enforcement, the gaps in enforcement of the laws that already exist, Right Honorable Speaker. Most of these girls are between 12 to 17 years. This is within the defilement age. But how is this being enforced by both police and parents and community is what stands to be questioned and what needs to be improved, Right Honorable Speaker. And secondly, the responsibility is right at the court of parents. Parenting, parents have become so negligent of what their children are doing and they don't care. COVID-19 only escalated, but there has been a silent problem going on. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I believe we must take on the parents in guiding, in counseling, in nurturing, and protecting children as the primary concern in fighting this. Because as I move home at 6 in the evening in my village, children as young as...
Yeah, okay, please conclude.
Children, girls and boys as young as 5 years to 19 years, as you are going home in the evening like now, they are moving to the trading centers in the market, and they are going to dance there up to 10, up to 11, up to midnight, and the parents are sitting home watching and not doing anything. So I think the response of community in nurturing the children collectively is what we should campaign for, so that everybody takes care of the children who is getting spoiled or not being taken care of in the center. Otherwise, these laws are in place. We may pass resolutions here, but if we don't take this direction, then we are going to fail in fighting teenage pregnancy. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Sengo.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, as honorable members were coming up with a list of, with a return of lamentations, me, I was boiling with the anger in my seat there. Because I have a feeling that this nation is becoming very immoral. It starts right from the homes. What are the parents doing? How can you come here and say, well, you see, many of these girls have been made pregnant by their relatives. What have we done to those relatives? Why do you leave them scotch-free? After such a shame, you make an underage pregnant, let the law come in. You should be punished very heavily. This is the only way to stop immorality in this country. We can't live like this. Then you go and you say the parents, are given some bit of money, then the whole story ends there. What have you done to those parents that are misbehaving? This is what I'm calling immorality in the homes. Let us be serious. Let us punish even those parents that are misbehaving. How do you let your daughter be impregnated and then you ask for a few millions or a few thousands of shillings and then the whole story ends there? No. We are not serious enough. Much as we may lament here, much as we may say this and that, unless we enforce morals in this country, we are not going anywhere. Because
yeah. Yes,
Speaker.
you are raising an interesting issue. Please conclude.
Madam Speaker, let me conclude by appealing that from now on, let's use a strong hand. Let the police come in. Let the defilers be made accountable, and let them be put in, and let them be punished. Even the parents that are neglecting their roles, let them also be punished. Let's have serious morals if we are going to build a serious nation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. As I invite Honorable Kivaju, followed by Ogwara and then Honorable Mtuzo. Honorable members, in the early days of the NRM, the vice chair of the LC was in charge of children at all levels. But I don't know whether the vice chair of the village, so the vice chair of the sub-county, that was their responsibility among others.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when the government started giving the chairman some money and leaving other members, I'm talking this after consulting them, they tell me one of the vice chairperson told me, but they are paying the chairman and I do more work than him. Why should I continue? The woman told me the truth and I said, what? But these are important. She said, no, me, I'm working for nothing. They also only see the chairman and my chairman is not even educated like me. Some cases, I'm the ones who handle them. So me, I will not do anything again, Madam Speaker. So the point is very clear. Mine, I talked about like 3, but the only issue is that they are not being recognized. It's only the chairman being recognized, Madam Speaker.
Okay. So, yeah, Honorable Kivaju, then Olanya Ogwara.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank Jova for this motion. Earlier on, Right Honorable Speaker, we were talking about disaster preparedness in this country. But, Right Honorable Speaker, this is a mother of all disasters in our country. That 1 year of COVID, we are talking of our children, the children in our homes, being pregnant in our homes. So schools are safer. Are schools safer for our children than our homes? It is so saddening, Right Honorable Speaker, to see young babies. I will not call them even children. Some of them are babies, below 14, 16 years, being mounted by their fathers, by their uncles, by those people who should be loving them and taking good care of them. It is so sad, Right Honorable Speaker. I was in my village last week. The story is different. Right Honorable Honorable Jova said that in rural areas, I want to assure you that this is going on even in urban centers, in town councils, in our very, very, very environment. How can we let down our children? How can our children, instead of continuing in school, be pregnant and become outcasts? Because you are saying, let's bring them back. Let them come back to school. I want to tell you this, Right Honorable. In conclusion,
Yes.
Right Honorable Speaker, the police, I am going to talk about the police because some of these cases are reported to the police. Somebody has raped a child, but once they bribe them, that ends the case. Madam Speaker, we want to talk about these things openly and say that the police is aiding rapists and people who are raping their children. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Gilbert Olanya, then Honorable Ogwal, then Honorable Mutuzo.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, allow me to appreciate Honorable Jovia for this very important motion. Madam Honorable Jovia, when we were presenting the motion, I was feeling that maybe you are looking at what is happening in my district, Amoro. Right Honorable Speaker, in my district, Amoro, in the last PLE which was done, more than 80 girls missed the exams. They did not participate in the exams because many of them were pregnant, because they were feeling ashamed, they had to disappear. And very many parents, last week, about 5 parents were arrested by the police. Those parents were giving out their girls as young as they are for marriage. 2 girls were 13 years old. Right at P6, I am happy that police went, rounded them, and they arrested all the family. Right Honorable Speaker, this motion is very important. We need to safeguard our girls. Unfortunately, the boys were impregnating those girls. For them, they're in school, they are very comfortable, and the parents of those boys, some of them are just laughing, but the parents of the girls are really suffering. Right Honorable Speaker, we need this policy. Let the strategies be put in place, and I appeal to the Ministry of Education to hurry. Let those girls who got pregnant, they deliver, we should come up with the policy, they can go back to school. Delivering is not the end of the life. Let the parents also be told. And finally, Madam Speaker, from the prayers, let us also pray. Let us pray that parents should also take care of their children. Because it's very shameful for a parent accepting to get money for your daughter who is 13, 14 years old. It's so embarrassing. So let parents also be told, let parents really take care of their young daughters. Otherwise, I support the motion. I think this is the best motion so far, when first is going to help in the protection of our young girls. I beg to go.
Thank you, Honorable Ogwal.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Jovial for this very important motion focusing on the child marriages and teenage pregnancies. Right Honorable Speaker, I just want to ask questions, and I hope that one day the government will answer. When director of one of the schools in Uganda was cited as having pregnanted so many girls, taking advantage of these girls who are disadvantaged, what action did the government take? To my knowledge, nothing. Why? Right Honorable Speaker, it is on record that during this pandemic, so many girls got pregnant all across Uganda. what has government done to track these girls in order to know the actions to be taken? None. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this is a symptom of a breakdown of the system, not only in our society, even in the government. It shows that we have a government who doesn't care. Because if this is happening to my child, it's also happening to your child. So I think all of us must be concerned. The government must respond responsibly. The government should be able to track all this evil taking place in our society and be seen to be doing something. Right, Honorable Speaker, I took trouble to invite some of the parents who have had experiences with girls who are pregnant during this pandemic. I was shocked that some of the parents didn't turn up, but the girls turned up. A girl who looks about 14, 15 was having a child at the back, another one in the home. Yes. And you'd ask, then what? Then he said, now I don't know where to go. These girls are suffering rejection. They are rejected by their parents. They are rejected by the family of the boy. Sometimes the boys even disappear. They are suffering psychologically. So I think the government, my prayer to be added to the prayer, Honorable Joval, is that one of the things that the government should focus on is it called psychosocial services to these girls. We need to put aside funds to, first of all, rehabilitate them psychologically and take them back to school. And there must be funds to take these children back to school, because we cannot just leave them there. And we have also learned from Dokolo that some of these girls who are married out young, they are battered by their husbands. And the same man keeps bringing young girls on top of young girls. So, Right Honorable Speaker, this is a breakdown of our society. We need to look at this motion holistically, making sure that not only the government should define its own role in effectively dealing with this matter, but also the parents, cultural institutions, religious organizations must all play their part in making sure that we come up with an effective solution. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mutuzo. Yes, Honorable Jogo.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I wanted to confirm to you the figure for Ruero. It is indeed 12,944. Remember that I quoted for Kasese what appeared in the New Vision yesterday, that it was 19,081 girls who got pregnant just in 1 year. Right, Honorable Speaker, in addition to the prayers we have made, we need statistics, because these are just a few statistics here and there, picked from a few probation officers, picked from indeed studies like the one of the research of Parliament. Government should be in a position to provide statistics of these girls, and as Honorable Cecilia Ogwaro has said, to follow them up. We need to know what is happening to our girls so as to put in place measures to protect them. Because, Right Honorable Speaker, I have, for example, Buko has 919, Serere 3,429, Kitugum 1,519, and these are just picked from the health clinics and probation offices, but we need proper statistics. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
I think what we may want to add to that motion is that we need an audit of the situation of these children in this year of the pandemic. We need an audit by the government.
Right Honorable Speaker, we could use LC1s. I have found them very effective, only that they're just abandoned. Because LC1s are at the lowest point of administration. If we could use them, they will be in a better position to avail us whatever information we need from that particular village. So you talk of the village coordinated from the parishes to the sub-county and to the district. So we could try that method.
Yeah, every child lives in the village. The child comes from some village. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving a lot of attention on this subject. And I also want to thank my sister, Honorable Jova Kamateka, for speaking to the gender agenda and passionately contributing, by all members, contributing towards this very, very important subject. Government is concerned by the increasing cases of teenage pregnancies and child marriages. And we are making efforts to curb the teenage pregnancy and child marriages, especially within this COVID-19 context, with the difficulties, but we are making some progress. The Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development embarked on implementing the national strategy to end child marriages and teenage pregnancies in 2015. And indeed, after 5 years right now, we are conducting an assessment plan, and that's why you see these figures coming out. It is because of the robust plan we have put on ground to generate data, which we feed into our policy, our plans for implementation. Right, Honorable Speaker, previously, perhaps you would not get to know how many have been defiled, but right now, even before the close of the year, we are getting figures, and we're already compiling this data. Right, Honorable Speaker, we wish to request for like a month where we shall have gotten all the information from all the districts to be able to lay it on table and discuss this matter comprehensively. The Ministry of Education and Sports has adopted guidelines on the entry of child mothers into schools. This will give a chance to the child mothers to go back to schools after giving birth. But we are also sensitizing and supporting child mothers as they continue their studies. Plans to reopen schools is being implemented so to keep more children in schools. Indeed, some families are overwhelmed. A family where children will return to school, if the family has around 17 children, maybe 5 boys or 9 girls, keeping under the watch of one mother is not also easy. These are energetic young children in puberty stages. So keeping them in school is much safer. And that's why we're happy that at least there is a plan to reopen schools when all children will be there and kept safely under the watch of the caregivers in the schools. Under EU Spotlight Initiative, the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development is coordinating other government agencies on strengthening the enforcement of laws against defilement, child marriages, and other forms of child and sexual abuses and exploitation. Our efforts are undermined by some prevailing negative social norms and practices in our cultures. But during this lockdown, we organized a cultural organization and traditional leaders. We have a forum now, and we have met the traditional leaders like twice. And we are now working at laying down all the bad practices in our different cultures so that they can support us to outlaw all of them. The National School Health Policy is implemented. The Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development is working with other line ministries, in particular Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education and Sports, to fast track the finalization of the school health policy, to ensure that all the children corners that were being talked about are catered for. On resource to police, local councils and probation officers to protect girls and teenage pregnancies and child marriages, we have appealed to ensure that we form a strong task force where all those agencies are aligned together. And in the National Development Plan 3, we have 5 ministries that will be working closely to coordinate, including local government and the Ministry of Education, and other agencies that work on humanities to ensure that we work together closely to end teenage pregnancies and child marriages. Actually, like Kasese, this year, they have taken the lead in developing, the district has developed an action plan to end child marriages. Kasese has around 3,545 girls that got pregnant within only this 1 year. So we supported them with support from UN Women, and the ministry provided technical support. We developed an action plan, and we want to roll it out to the other districts. So this particular week and the next week to come, we are moving towards the southwestern Uganda and eastern Uganda to ensure that we conduct training for our machinery, the women councils, the LC1 chairpersons, the vice chairpersons, to ensure that we empower them with the information and skills to end to take more serious care to end child marriages. The Ministry of Gender, in close collaboration with the development partners and civil society organizations, such as Action Aid International, MIFUMI, and Center for Domestic Violence Prevention, is coordinating the delivery of support services for the GBV survivors through 14 GBV shelters located in the districts of Gulu, Rira, Masaka, Mbarara, Kumi, Katakwi, Amur, Palisa, Nebi, Movende, Kwen, Moroto, and Kampala. Through these shelters, survivors of gender-based violence access temporary shelters for protection and security, legal aid services, which involve an assessment of each case to determine whether it is of a criminal or civil nature, and whether it needs medication, committal to court of law, or alternative dispute resolution, psychosocial support, and counseling for gender-based violence survivors and their immediate family members, and medical support and first aid services before seeking treatment and health facilities. The Ministry of Gender has stepped up efforts on media engagement to sensitize the public on dangers of teenage pregnancy and child marriages, and also encourage women and girls to seek support from the existing services. We have developed parenting guidelines and disseminated them to the different districts, and also supplied to the activists, the media houses, so that at any opportune time, the caregivers are briefed and empowered with the necessary information to dispense, so that we can sensitize the minds, we can build the mindset that is resilient against child marriages and teenage pregnancies. The judiciary has also launched a mechanism to reduce the backlog of cases concerning gender-based violence. And there is also a report on human rights abuses that is being prepared within the next 2 weeks. The Ministry of Internal Affairs will be laying this report on the floor. In regard to WEP funds, we have done our best in the 4 years of its implementation. And we could do better if we're given sufficient resources. But now, all these wealth creation funds are being merged to create a new parish development model that has been adopted by Cabinet, and we may not possibly continue with the WEP because all the funds will be pulled into one basket to operationalize a parish model that will go to all the parishes in the country to improve on livelihood holistically.
Point of clarification.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister just said, admitted that WEP did well in the 4 years. There are some people who sit in Cabinet. How do you now tell us that WEP is not going to continue? Right Honorable Minister, is this what you are saying? that WEP is not going to continue, that this money is going to be merged in the parish model, now knowing very well that that parish model will have maybe like the money we saw in the campaign, the one of Emioga, where there are so many groups competing for such little money. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are saying we want improvement. We want these mothers to be able to fend for their girl child. Is this the way we are going to go about it, taking away actually even the little money that they have been getting? I think as Parliament, we need to engage government and make sure that not only WEP, does WEP remain, but that we add more money because the women need it. And the women, not just for themselves, but for the stable home and for the good of the girl child, as we have seen. So this is the clarification I am trying to seek, whether your government is doing away with WEP and only proceeding with the parish model, knowing very well that the parish model will not be as effective as WEP. And actually, in our request here, we want more credit funds to go to women organizations because they have had more effect in the socio-economic development of the country.
Honourable members, I'm one of those who's concerned about the news that the WEP might go to be mixed up with operation road creation and I don't know what else. I think it's a matter we need to engage on and try to convince the government that it's important that the WEP funds remain so that they support the women. Minister, I don't want you to just give up like that. Anyway, maybe you give up, but we shall not. We shall not. Please conclude. We need to have another motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I have listened to the concerns that you have raised, and I do salute it. And also, Honorable Kamateka, as women, that is also a concern, but because of the financial constraints that the government is undergoing, Cabinet so far has already adopted a parish model which needed to be supported with the resources and the wealth creation resources. All wealth creation resources were pulled together in one basket. But
so there is no piloting. There is no piloting. They just go straight into it.
Right, Honorable Speaker, we can continue engaging and discussing because the budget will still come to this house. But so far, that's where we could mostly mobilize from the most available resources, the Youth Livelihood Fund, the Operation Wealth Creation Funds, and the Women Fund, WEP Fund, and others. Uruwero Triangle and others were pulled together to form one basket. Right, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to request that we all continuously continuously sensitize the parents, the caregivers, the citizens, the entire country to be on the watch of teenage pregnancy, child abuse, immorality. We cannot do it alone. We need to have a concerted effort by everybody. All caregivers, including police, need to be on this. But so far, at least we have the data, we have the strategy. The Ministry of Gender will do more than this, but we need financial resources. All these matters are not financially supported. We work more with the development partners, with civil society organizations, with faith-based organizations, especially things to do with culture. There's no financial allocation, budget allocation to deal with culture. And many of these are emanating from our social cultural practices and norms. And I want to appeal very strongly that as soon as the budget comes to this house, we look into this matter to ensure that we support the Ministry of Gender's budget so that we can be able to do more than this and not leave our works on paper, but to ensure that we implement them to the letter. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and the House.
Okay, the members have put the question that the question be put, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Put the question that this House will adopt the motion as proposed, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it. Let's go to item 18.
Item number 18, motion for resolution of Parliament to congratulate Honorable Basagaba upon attaining the awards of the honorary doctorate degree in business and leadership from the Switzerland University Business School in recognition of his contribution to community.
Is there a delegate for Honorable Among? Is there a delegate? Okay.
Right Honorable Speaker, I rise under Rule 55 of the Rules of Procedure to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to congratulate Honorable Abbas Agaba upon attaining the award of the honorary doctorate degree of business and leadership from the Switzerland University Business School in recognition of his contribution to the community. Whereas Honorable Abbas Agaba is the Member of Parliament for Chitagwenda County, Kamwenje District in the 10th Parliament. And whereas in the month of June 2020, Honorable Abbas Agaba was nominated and awarded the honorary doctorate degree of business and leadership by the Switzerland University Business School, honoris causa. Recognizing that Honorable Abbas Agaba duly became the first Ugandan to receive the said honorary doctorate, premised on his sound academic background and demonstrable contribution to the community and the country at large